What is Hebrew, really? Originally spoken by the Jewish people in the 10th century BCE, Hebrew is the Semitic language of over 9 million people, particularly in the land of Israel, but also in many Jewish communities across the world. The Hebrew language originally derived from Aramaic, the oldest continuously written and spoken language of the Middle East, and is very closely tied to Hebrew. There are a total of 22 letters in the Hebrew alphabet. Something many people don't know is that Hebrew is all math. It's all numbers. Like, very few people actually know this, but the ancient Jews actually used Hebrew as their numerical value system. So each letter is a number. Like the Hebrew A, Aleph, is 1. The B, Bet, is 2, and so on. But take a look at this. The numbers are interrelated. Like, for example, take the Hebrew word for father, Av. That's Aleph and Vet. Aleph is 1, Vet is 2. Add them together, you got 3. Now, the Hebrew word for mother is Im. That's Aleph plus Mem. 1 plus 40. That's 41. Now, if you add the values 3 and 41 together, you get 44. Now, take the Hebrew word for child, Yeled. Yud, Lamed, Dalet. That's 10, 30, and 4. So, it's also 44. Because the message here, it's a hidden code that a mother and a father come together to create a child. Now, hidden codes and messages like these exist omnipresently across the Hebrew language. And it's not news to any of us. We all know that a mother and a father come together to create a child. But it shows that there's a connection within the letters of the Hebrew language. So then the Torah is really just a long string of numbers that some say is a code sent to us from a higher power. Now, check this out. The word for the Garden of Eden is kedem. It adds up to 144. Now, the value of the tree of knowledge in the garden, Etz HaChaim, is 233. So you have 144 and 233. If you divide these two values together, you get 1.618, blah, 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 on and on. It's an irrational number called phi, the Greek symbol for the golden ratio, also known as the Fibonacci sequence. The golden ratio is sometimes called a divine proportion because of how often it appears in the natural world. So the numbers of a petal on a flower, for instance, will often be a Fibonacci number. If you have no idea what I'm talking about or what the Fibonacci sequence is, then please click right here to get informed on what the Fibonacci sequence is, because that is completely out of this world. This formula is a perfect spiral. So we're saying to divide the tree of knowledge by the Garden of Eden, you get a perfect spiral. That's the equation for a spiral. That's literally out of this world. So Hebrew is not just a language used to communicate between man and man, as 9 million people of today do. Higher than that, the Hebrew language enables the creator of the world to communicate with man. This is why Jews call Hebrew Lashon HaKodesh, which literally translates to the holy tongue. More than that, it's believed that God used the Hebrew letters in the process of creating the world. Then the Hebrew alphabet, and therefore the Torah, is actually a highly complex alphanumeric code, which is explained by Jewish mysticism, stems from the idea that mathematics is the universal language of nature. This sounds exactly like science to me, and within it may be the keys to explaining our universe once and for all, and evidence of the supernatural.